Yes, how are you? How are you?
I'm fine.
Good. Hmm. Okay. So let's start something new.
Mhm.
Okay. Should we start degrees or would you like to practice speaking?
Let's practice speaking.
Okay. Okay, then I'm going to tell you an incident actually
Mhm.
that happened in my childhood.
Mhm.
That time actually I was 2 year old.
Okay.
So I was just 2 year old and I was cutting teeth. You know, cutting teeth means when the children.
Cutting teeth, I don't know.
Okay, I tell you, when the children actually, when they are in the process of growing their teeth
Mhm.
in childhood.
Mhm.
So that is called means I was cutting teeth that time. So मीन्स इन हिंदी if I speak दांत निकलते हैं ना बच्चे के
Mhm.
that is called cutting teeth. So
Okay.
yeah, so I was cutting teeth and I was suffering from loose motions,
Okay.
and on that particular day my mother was cooking pudding in the kitchen
Mhm.
and I was standing beside my mother and my father was waiting in the kitchen itself to have pudding.
Okay.
So I just smelled that pudding. So I just pulled my mother's sari and I asked her to give me some pudding.
Mhm.
But my mother denied because actually she knew it very well that I was suffering from loose motions.
Mhm.
So she denied.
Mhm.
But after some time, again I pulled my mother's sari and asked her to give me some pudding.
Mhm.
She denied me that time also.
Okay.
And the third time, when I asked my mother to give me some pudding, my mother asked me to go to my father, who was sitting in the
Mhm.
kitchen itself.
Mhm.
So I went to my father. He was busy in eating, having lunch, and my
Mhm.
mother was busy in cooking. So
Mhm.
I asked my father to give me some pudding.
Okay.
But that time my father was in a hurry because he had to go to his work.
Mhm.
Actually, I didn't remember that incident, but my mother told me that incident. That's why I'm telling you.
Mhm.
So my father scolded me very much that time because he didn't want to give me pudding either.
Mhm.
So I was in fear and I started going back
Mhm.
without turning my face.
Mhm.
So unfortunately, I was moving backward,
Mhm.
and unfortunately, there was a staircase behind me.
Mhm.
So I slipped from there and I rolled over stairs and I fell down from first floor to the ground floor. So cried a lot, or I cried loudly,
Mhm.
and I had a very deep cut on my forehead
Mhm.
and it was bleeding too much.
Mhm.
So after hearing my cry, actually my father, grandfather, they all actually rushed towards me. My
Okay.
grandfather picked me up, and when he found that my forehead was bleeding, then he pressed my forehead
Mhm.
with his hand just to stop bleeding.
Okay.
And he took me to the nearby hospital.
Great.
and my all family members followed him. So when we
Okay.
reached the nearest hospital, the doctor
Mm-hmm.
examined, and I was unconscious actually. So after examining, actually, I got 7 stitches on my forehead,
Mm-hmm.
and I was unconscious. And doctor actually told my parents that
Mm-hmm.
my means I was in danger, and if I didn't get consciousness within next 24 hours, I might die or I might be mentally retarded.
Mm-hmm.
So I was unconscious. I was in my bed, and all the family members were sitting around my bed, and they
Mm-hmm.
all were praying to God for my recovery. So
Okay.
after 16 hours,
Mm-hmm.
I opened my eyes and I asked my mother to give me some water, not pudding this time.
Mm-hmm.
So my family members called doctor immediately, and after examining, the doctor informed my parents that I was out of danger.
Okay.
So I recovered in 10 or 15 days, and
Mm-hmm.
all my family members heaved a sigh of relief.
Mm-hmm.
Heaved a sigh of relief. So that is the incident actually took place in my childhood.
Okay.
So can you repeat this?
Mhm. It was a good story, and I like these kinds of story because I love to improve my speaking power. And the
Yes.
story you told that it was too interesting and it was attractive as well. And you faced a number of things and a lot of other things.
Hmm.
So
So I would like you to speak it in your own words. So it will give you a kind of practice.
mhm.
Hmm.
Actually,
So you can start like that, means when I was 2 year old.
when I was 2 years old, I used to work. I used to go to school,
Mhm.
and I learned at the time. I learned a lot of hadith and Quran.
Mhm.
When I was 2 years old, and I memorized the Holy Quran as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
You can repeat the same story if you like for practice.
mhm. Okay.
Hmm.
Actually, let me tell you reality that when you when you repeated the story, I was I would like to change in Facebook my birthday. I don't like to that everyone see my birthday. Therefore, I was busy in that to how to change that.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, I am unable to repeat your story again.
Okay, no problem. So, do you want me to repeat it again, or
If possible, would be great.
yes, yes, why not? I tell you again, no problem. You see, that incident took place in my childhood. Now, this time I am speaking little slowly, so you may understand the sentences and the words I am
No,
using.
I will repeat your words or
No, it is
your
up to you.
story.
Yeah, I want you to repeat my story actually. So it will be a practice of speaking, the how to speak fast sentences. Okay. So that's why if you want me to repeat, I can repeat, no problem.
Okay.
So that incident actually took place in my childhood. And
Which incident?
the same which I am going to tell you. Uh, but that incident I didn't remember, but my mother told me when I got sense. Means when I was 10 or 15-year old, that time my mother told me that incident. So, I was cutting teeth that time. And as
What does cutting teeth mean?
cutting teeth mean actually when a child is in the process of getting teeth.
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, when a child is born, the child doesn't have teeth. So, in the process, when the child is in the process of getting his teeth, that is called child is cutting teeth. Okay.
When the child is in the process of getting teeth, huh?
Yes, this is called cutting teeth.
Cutting teeth, great. Okay.
So I was cutting teeth that time, and I was suffering from loose motions.
Okay.
Yeah. So as usual, my mother was cooking in the kitchen, but that day she was cooking pudding, and my father was waiting in the kitchen for the pudding. And I was standing beside my mother. So usually in India, the ladies wear sari. You know sari?
Sari, yes, I know.
Yes. So I pulled my mother's sari.
Okay.
And I asked my mother to give me some pudding.
Some what?
Pudding.
Pudding.
Yeah. You know pudding?
No.
Pudding is a kind of sweet dish.
Okay.
Like, in Hindi we say halwa.
Halwa.
Yes. You know halwa.
Pudding is halwa.
Pudding is English name for that actually, pudding. Halwa, or kheer, Indian dish.
Indian what?
Indian dish, kheer.
Kheer, yeah, I know kheer as well.
Yeah.
I like kheer. Not yesterday, but some days ago we had kheer.
Yes. Kheer is prepared with milk and rice,
Yes, I know.
Yeah, kheer is prepared with milk and rice and some sugar in it. And we add some dry fruit actually in it. Actually, in India, the Muslim community, they prepare kheer on Eid.
Yes, 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 yes. Here people also prepare the same and eat.
Yeah, and they invite people and they serve kheer to the guest. Yeah, this is pudding actually in English.
Pudding. Okay.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
so my mother was actually preparing pudding that day. So I just pulled my mother's sari and asked her to give me some pudding, but she denied because I was suffering from loose motion. But I was quiet for some time, and I again pulled my mother's sari and again asked her to give me some pudding in my lisping voice.
Listening voice, yes.
Lisping.
Lisping.
Lisping,
No.
lisping voice.
Lisping word.
Lisping, means when the child they're unable to speak, they speak. Chal, I want to go there.
Ah, lisping voice. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
this is lisping.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I asked my mother to give me some pudding in my lisping voice.
Okay, lisping voice. Yes, yes, I know.
So my mother denied and asked me to go to my father. So I went to my father, who was sitting in the kitchen itself, and I asked my father to give me some pudding, but that time he was in hurry.
Okay.
He had to go to his work. So he scolded me, or he shouted at me.
Okay.
So I was in fear. So I started going back without turning my face. And I kept going, and unfortunately, there was a staircase. So I slipped from there and I rolled over the staircase and I fell down from first floor to ground floor. And I was unconscious and I screamed loudly. And after that, I was quiet. So everybody was shocked. It means my family members, my parents, my uncle, my grandfather, they all rushed towards me.
Okay.
And I got a very deep cut on my forehead. It was bleeding. So my grandfather actually picked me up and pressed my forehead with his hands just to stop bleeding.
Okay.
And he took me to the nearest hospital. And all the family members followed him. So when they reached the hospital, the doctor examined and put 7 stitches on my forehead. But I was still unconscious.
Great. Let me tell you from here.
Okay.
So an incident was happened in the childhood, in my childhood. At that time, I was 15 years old, and I was at that time I was 15 years old, and my mother told me regarding that incident. And my mother was preparing the pudding, and I asked my mother to give me some pudding, but he refused to give me the same, and I was at that time my age, I was cutting the teeth, and I cover and I put up the sari of my mother, and I told him in a lisping voice to give me some pudding, but he refused.
She.
But she, sorry, yeah, she refused. Yeah, yeah. So then I requested, but she refused to give me the pudding. And usually in India, most of the Muslim they prepare and they they offer pudding in Eid days or in in all those days whenever they celebrate I mean, any special event. And that special day they offer to their guests pudding and these things.
Hmm. Would you continue? Like means I fell down from.
I think it's okay.
Okay. So after that, actually, they took me to the hospital, and I got 7 stitches there, and I was still unconscious. And the doctor informed my parents, grandparents, that if I didn't
Okay.
get consciousness within 24 hours, I might die or I might be mentally retarded. So I was on my bed, and everybody was sitting around my bed and praying to God for my recovery. And after some time, after 16 hours, I opened my eyes. Then my parents called doctor. Doctor examined me and told them I was out of danger. Then everybody heaved a sigh of relief. And after that, I took 10 to 15 days to recover completely.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the incident actually took place in my childhood.
Okay.
So I tell you one more story. I think you might have heard that story in your childhood, or
Which one?
I'm going to tell you, or you might have read it somewhere in your school or somewhere. The story is about Thirsty Crow.
Caustic Crow?
Thirsty Crow. You know Thirsty Crow?
Thirsty Crow. Thirsty Crow.
Yes.
No, I don't know. Thirsty Crow.
Okay. You understand crow?
No, I know thirsty, but I don't know crow.
Crow is a bird actually, black bird, you know. Like that is the voice of crow. Cow, cow. You understand?
Okay.
Do you
Crow. A child shouting,
Hmm?
when a child shouting, that is called crow.
Crow. Actually, you can see the picture of crow in on internet. Crow is a kind of bird actually. It is one-eyed, one-eyed bird. Did you see it?
Let me check it on internet. Crow. CROW.
Yes. Don't worry, I give you the link here. You can check this and you can see the images of crow. Did you see?
Crow. Yeah, I know.
It's a bird actually, you know.
It's a bird.
Actually,
Crow. Yes, I know. I have heard the name of crow in my childhood.
Yes. Do you have crow in Afghanistan?
Yeah, absolutely, we have.
Okay. So okay, I tell you that story of a thirsty crow and intelligent crow. Actually, there was a crow. It was very thirsty,
Okay.
and it was flying here and there in search of water. So after a very long time, it saw a pitcher. You know pitcher?
Picture.
Yes.
Picture.
Pitcher. Pitcher is
No.
a kind of utensil where we store water, and that gets old after some time in that earthen pot, you can say.
Okay.
Earthen pot. You know pitcher?
No. Oh, ketchup. Yeah, I know ketchup.
No, pitcher. Pitcher, I tell you, pitcher is a kind of, it is found in kitchen actually, and we store water in it to drink, or drinking water is stored in pitcher.
Okay.
So after a very long time, it saw a pitcher under a tree.
Okay.
It went near the pitcher and peeped into the pitcher. Peeped. You know peeped?
They are bird?
No. Peep means just to check something inside. Peep means to see something inside, to check. Don't know? Okay, don't worry. I tell you by Google Translate. Your language is Pashto, right?
Yes.
So your language is Pashto. I'll tell you. Peep means this. Did you understand peep?
Nanawat peep. Wow. Yeah. Really interesting words.
So peep means this in your language. Okay. So that crow peeped into the pitcher. And I tell you pitcher also in Pashto. You will like it. And pitcher is this. Did you see?
Yeah, Mange.
So now you have understood these words. I tell you that again. There was a crow. It was very thirsty.
There was a crow. It was very thirsty. Yes.
It was flying here and there in search of water. So after a very long time, it saw a pitcher under a tree. And it went near the pitcher and peeped into the pitcher. and found that the water level in the pitcher was very low. So
Okay.
it couldn't drink water. So it thought an idea. It collected some stone pieces near the pitcher
Okay.
and dropped them into the pitcher one by one. And the water level came up. And then the crow drank some water from it and flew away. So this is the story of a thirsty crow. Right? So now,
Okay.
yeah, you can speak it now.
There was a thirsty. There was a thirsty crow, and mostly whenever bird get thirsty, they get together with with the rest of the birds, and they go to sometimes they go to river. They go to river and then water each other, and then they fly, get together, and then go to their own place where they live or where they stay. I think it's enough.
Okay. So,
Okay, thank you for today, and then see you tomorrow.
okay.
Okay,
Okay. Bye. Good night.
same to you.